showing me on camera.
Okay, we are officially recording now. Okay, take it away.
I'd like to call to order the Middleton Tourism Commission meeting on March 21st, 2023 at 4 p.m. We are at the Middleton Visitor Center and on Zoom. I think we're gonna, do we want to do approval of minutes right away, or should we just?
Yeah, we can do approval of minutes and then we can go
jump.
straight into to grants.
Any questions or comments on the minutes?
I didn't think my link worked to the minutes.
Did you see the minutes in your
Packet?
the agenda
That
packet?
I thought
I
I'd
can
seen them
scroll
somewhere.
down as well.
Yes, I thought I'd seen them somewhere, so yes, yeah, okay.
Second.
If everyone's okay, we can
Yeah,
have a
here are the
motion to
minutes.
approve.
This is Olson. I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from February 21st.
This is Strom, I'll second.
Any, would we have to see if there's any other
Yeah, so
comments
there's
or?
any discussion.
Yeah, any
That's done.
discussion on the motion? If there is none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye,
Excellent.
that's everybody, so they are approved.
Okay, so let's skip ahead to grant applications.
Okay, we're gonna skip down, number one, right?
Let's go ahead and do number two.
No,
because
number
Hal-
two, okay, that's
Hal
who's here.
Kiesler's here, and
Okay.
he is representing WVA. So all of you have that grant application in your packet, and then this is a brief description, and we have Kyle here in the room to answer any questions. In fact, I'll stop sharing so that you can see him.
Hi, everybody.
If you have any questions at all, he's here. I have a lot more information that he provided as well. So as you can see, he said that we could do a sponsorship level. And so the different sponsorship levels cover like having your logo at the registration table, the after party, decor, programs, photo area. And if we were a sponsor, he would also let us have like a Visit Middleton table with our information out in the lobby type of thing. The registration sponsorship level is 1,000. The after party is 2, decor is 3, the program is 1, and that's a prominent logo placement in the event program. And the photo area is $750, and that's to get signage at the photo booth area. We have sponsored this in the past. It looks like $1,000 back in 2019. So it would be a destination partnership sponsorship. And the reason, and I know we just voted on giving me permission to decide these things. The reason I want to bring it all to you is because there's such a large level of sponsorships that you can choose between. And I wanted to give you all a chance to weigh in.
Mari, I have a question for you. Do you guys have the bandwidth to do a table if you were interested in doing that?
We would just set one up with all the materials.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, we wouldn't man the table.
You
They
weren't
wouldn't-
staffing. Okay. Didn't
Yeah,
know.
we would
Okay.
probably set up a small table with some visitor guides and like a pop-up, something tasteful to just set off, because most of these people are probably from the area. And they've been here, what, every year now for,
We've been at the Marriott for this event for a very long time, longer than I've been around. So, yeah.
so I don't think we need a human
Okay,
there directing. My suggestion would be the two that I was the most drawn to were either the registration desk or the program. They're both at $1,000 level, which is what we've given in the past. I definitely think that for an event like this, it would be important for Visit Middleton to have a sponsorship to be seen. So that's my 2 cents. Does anybody have any questions? I can pull up their grant proposal again too. As well.
You mentioned the registration one.
Registration was $1,000 or the program was $1,000. Are they still available?
Actually, the registration got snatched up this morning.
Okay, so
So I'm
program,
glad you flagged that. I should have mentioned that. Yes.
no worries. I can pull up their grant application. Why am I doing this the slow way?
Mari, can you explain the photo booths aspect?
I can let Kyle explain the photo booth.
Sure.
That'd be great.
Yeah, so in the back corner of the ballroom, we'll have we'll actually have a giant Eiffel Tower because we have a Paris themed event this year, and an area set up for our photographer to photograph all of the first place winners. So each winner gets their award, they'll get their award, and then they report to the photo booth area to get their photo taken. We give out a couple hundred awards, so there's a lot of traffic going around to that photo area all night long. And then the site we would for the sponsorship would have signage nearby, well, that would be visible to anyone who comes to the area, or just very often a waiting a line of people waiting to get their photo taken too. So there'd be some exposure there as well.
Mhm. Okay. Thank you.
It looks like the average is 400 people attend this event.
Yeah, we if we don't fill the ballroom, we usually come very close. And it is folks from, I mean, it primarily was Madison area. We have, I mean, naturally, but Milwaukee, and really we draw from stations all over the state. We're a statewide association.
It's nice to be back in person and doing things again too.
Oh my gosh, we were back in person for the first time last year, and it was a huge party. Everyone loved it. So.
Any other questions? Comments? Do you want to ask if anybody wants to make a motion?
Yeah, does anyone have any thoughts on what they're thinking?
This is Olson. I'd make a motion to the $1,000 for the program.
This is Garcia. I'll second that.
Any comments on the motion? Let's, who's all in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Jim, sorry, you can't.
Oh, Jim, your cam, oh yeah, he can't. Sorry,
Yeah.
never mind. I was gonna be like, your camera has to be on to count.
Motion
Okay.
passes.
Motion passes.
All right.
I will send you a letter with, it's for sponsorship, it's pretty cut and dry.
Yeah,
So, but I'll send you your official letter. and
we'll be in
everything.
touch. Yes, thank you all very much. I appreciate your support.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming in person.
Oh, yeah, happy to do so. Take care.
Thank you.
My camera shows is on, but it's not apparently working, so I need to sign in with my phone here.
Okay, we'll wait for you.
All right, thank you.
I'm gonna pull this back up. I think we can go ahead and just vote on we can discuss the other grant, get it out of the way. And then move back up to reports.
Yeah.
Okay,
So we'll
get it out of the
start
way. I didn't mean it like that. I just mean, because I know Angela is busy, so in order to want to be able to let her go.
Right. I was going to ask
Thank you very
if I
much
need to
for
stay
taking
for
this
the whole
time.
thing to make it count.
I know, I'm incredibly impressed. You're off at a conference and you found a corner to zoom in, so thank you.
No problem.
Okay.
Mari, could you please re-forward me the link for today's meeting?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
In fact, I just had to do that with someone else, so I've got it right here. There you go, sir.
Thank you.
While we're waiting for Jim, because he can't vote on this anyway. Do we
Yeah.
want to ask, like, anybody have questions about this? Now, in the meeting invite, I put quite a few details about this. So this is a revote. The Wisconsin Library Association received a $5,000 grant last month at our meeting. But now they're asking us to reconsider. And one of the reconsiderations is for this to be a flat payment, not contingent on overnight room fees, and to be given in advance. I think she wanted it in advance, but I know she wants a flat payment and not contingent on overnight room nights. Because she said that they are creating their budget, and it is very difficult to create their budget if they don't know what the exact number is. My counter to that was she's anticipating far more than 500 room nights, so that she would without a doubt get that $5,000. She felt that that would be too difficult to explain to her committee. She also felt that the combo plate getting $6,000 as a cap was, I'm just going to say it. I think she felt very insulted. And and there were some other things. And so this is something where we did give them a grant for $5,000 flat last year, and there were no contingencies set to it. I went back and reread the minutes and the letter that they received. They just got a flat $5,000 for this year, and it wasn't contingent on room nights. I'm not entirely sure why we did that, because in reviewing our old notes, our old guidelines and our current guidelines, we predominantly require events to be contingent on room nights. The biggest reason is not accountability. I'm not worried that people are going to, cheat us out of it. It's that if we promise a certain amount of money, but we don't get room nights that match, then we aren't going to be able to fund the same amount of grants the next year, because we'll be giving out far too much money than we're bringing in, which is one of the reasons that it's been contingent on room nights. But we've definitely, broken from that in the past, including with them. And that was also one of her concerns, was that in 2022, we approved a flat rate of $5,000, not contingent on room nights for this year. And if we aren't going to approve the same exact grant for 2025, she would like the commission to provide an explanation.
Mari, this is Olson. I just want to ask the other Olson. I just wanted to ask. Now, the $6,000 we gave, I think that was for a first time event that we're hoping to get into Middleton, and we want it to be a success. And it's my understanding, when you're doing a first time event, getting people in the door and getting here, I think you can make some allowances. Is that correct?
Well, the commission always has the ability to change how much it is that you're offering. I will say that one of the reasons we usually cap it at $5,000 is so that we can, for instance, a $5,000 grant, and their room block, like let's say it's a $5,000 grant and their room block is $130. What we actually take in from the hotel tax ourselves is a little over $3,000. So we're almost making that grant back up. And then that's money that goes into the grant program for next year.
Mm-hmm.
And so if we're giving out really high numbers, but we're only still getting that lower number because it's, they're not bringing in 600 people, then it's going to be harder for us to fund future grants. But on this, I will say that one of the things for both Combo Plate and the Square Dancers also received a flat fee of $5,000 to pay for their flooring, which they needed that money in advance so they could pay for the flooring. And they still have to give a report with room nights, and they still have to do all of the same reporting work. But the thing with Square Dancers and Combo Plate that is very different is they both have components where the community is invited. And so it'll be open. And so that is something too, where we're offering something to the Middleton and Madison community that they might not normally get. They'd have to travel far to see it. And if they're really interested in watching like a square dancing thing, which by the way, I've done and it's funny. I mean, not funny like haha, but it's like adorable actually. And the Combo Plate, I don't know anything about any of that, but I know that local hobbyists are going to probably be pretty excited that there's a public component. So one of the reasons why, like even at the time, I wasn't really thinking, we're breaking with the habit of it. I was thinking, these have public components.
Mhm.
Now, on the other side of that, the Wisconsin Library Association may not have a public component, but they are planning several local and area excursions. Like they want to do, they want to look into doing like sort of like field trips, which hopefully will be economic development, in our community.
Mhm.
So, I mean, there's definitely that side of it as well.
Are they asking any support for their field trips and that part of it at all?
She hasn't mentioned anything like that, other than the fact that she's one of the Middleton Library workers. Catherine has reached out to Laura and I to help her with contacts. Like we were helping them get set up with Capital Brewery and Friends of Pheasant Branch. We're actually trying to see if Friends of Pheasant Branch will do a guided tour for them.
Mhm.
And things like that. And so, and those like that probably, I don't know if that would even cost them any money, but she hasn't, and actually, I don't even know if she is concerned with the 6,000 versus the 5,000. For her, it's very much she said she would have, it sounded like it would be impossible for her to explain to her committee how that works.
Okay.
And that they would possibly not accept the terms. And she said that there were 3 other communities who were offering grants, either similar or more, and they weren't putting any criteria to it. And it's very possible that there are communities that can do, like Madison can just give money, right? Obviously they're much bigger than we are. And again, one of the reasons we do criteria is for tracking, to make sure that we aren't completely bankrupting our grant program.
Right. Yeah.
Because we have to make money in order to be able to give money. But also for a new event that we've never dealt with before, it's very important to me to put the $10 room night contingency on that, because we don't know how they're going to perform. Like
Right.
they say we have a room block for 500 and then only bring in 200. And so putting that on there means that they get a check for what they can bring in. Unless we've worked out something else, like we've cut it in half and said, okay, so $3,000 based on room nights, but we're also giving you just a flat 1,000 or 2,000 to put toward marketing. Like we can do anything we want like that if anybody wanted to. But back to this. So I feel very strongly that Cindy, who used to be on our commission, the phone call I had with her made me feel very much like we would not be in the running if we did not change what this grant is. But I would be remiss if I did not point out that if we reconsider grants that are going against what our written criteria are, we are opening the door for people coming back and saying, well, you did it for them. And then it's very difficult to explain, because technically they are also a new event. They're coming this fall, but we don't know how they're going to perform. I think they're going to do great as far as attendance wise, because the vast majority of the people who are coming to this event are from the southern Wisconsin area. I think their attendance will be fantastic. I think that they'll probably hit or come close to their room night block. There's no reason to doubt that part, but they are a brand new piece of business for us that we don't have past numbers for.
But the grant we're talking about is not for this year. We're talking about one.
Exactly. But that's the difficulty. We're talking about a grant in 2025, and it would be a quote unquote repeat grant. And yet we haven't had the event yet to know how things perform. And again,
Mari?
I'm not doubting her performance, but I think that is one of the reasons too why we didn't think anything of it when we were saying room nights. So it's entirely up to you guys. I think it's a very good piece of business for Middleton and for the Marriott. I would hate to lose it when I think we're going to pay $5,000 either way, because I do believe that they'll have at least 500 people staying the night.
Mari,
yes.
if she has another grant for more money with no contingencies, why is she even coming back to us?
So I asked that as well. And keeping in mind that this is an open meeting and I don't want to share too much of anybody's personal, professional business.
Sure.
How this generally goes is you send out proposals and communities will come back, right? And what I'm thinking is, with these others, there might be other things involved. So you could be a community offering more money, but if your hotel block is for considerably more money, you're going to have lower attendance because your attendees aren't going to want to pay that. So it's very possible that that's one of the situations. She said that one community promised $20,000 toward facility fees with like no criteria attached. And I asked, how are we even possibly still in the running? And that was basically her answer, that there are other things involved that could affect her attendance. So, and I don't know where these locations are. She is absolutely not obligated to share any of that. I don't know how much the other two grants were, but she said they were very similar to ours and they were flat payments and they didn't have contingencies criteria on them. Yeah, that's all I can say is that would be my guess, is that the other components to that location might make it too expensive for the attendees, whether it's travel or the cost of their room nights. And they know that, I mean, this is a library association. They probably know that these libraries have very limited budgets. And if they want high attendance, they need to choose a central location that's easy to get to and the Marriott is offering a very competitive room night.
So there isn't already a signed contract for space and rooms at the Marriott.
They have not, to my knowledge, they haven't signed anything for 2025, and I don't know if Jen's on here.
So Mary, sorry,
Oh,
I thought, Maddie,
yes.
so I thought that when we spoke with her last month, you brought up the concern of when this event was in Lake Geneva. I think it was Laura who attended it, and she noticed that there was a lot of local attendees. So
Yes.
there was the concern of not having much hotel
So
room.
in Lake Geneva, they had, I think it was well over 800. Did she put it in here? Yeah, 859 attendees. And
Right.
they already know that they're not going to get, well, they already know they won't have 890 room nights. So she did clarify that, and she was completely transparent that she's expecting 590. And this is as of last month. So that has been accounted for. But yeah, I did ask that just because I was wondering about attendance, but I think attendance to the event will be incredibly high, but room nights will be lower than Lake Geneva because the people are more local. They can probably drive every day. And she did account for that by saying 590.
So when is her event this year?
This year is October.
Um,
October 23rd, I think, through the 24th or something. Yeah, that sounds right. That's what it looks like right here.
Does it make sense to wait until the event passes so we can
They're
get more data?
choosing locations now. So according to Cindy, they're choosing their locations now and trying to lock everything in. And she said if we don't get this voted on this month, we also probably wouldn't be able to be in the running. She's advocating very.
I don't like the way she's handling this.
She's advocating very hard for her event and for her organization. And I'm trying not to present this negatively. She was very, very polite and respectful on the phone and in her emails. Her grant application was for a flat 5,000, and that's what they received for 23. And I think she was just very, very surprised that we changed how things were done for 25. And she said she definitely wanted an explanation either way. So if you vote to keep it as is, she would like an explanation as to why the commission would change how they do business between the 2 years.
Had you already explained to her the criteria on which we do that, like you just said to us before?
It's the same criteria that was in action when she was on the commission, because I didn't change any of that when I refreshed our guidelines.
Because I don't think us making maybe a mistake in granting outside of the criteria last year beholdens us to do so this year necessarily.
That was kind of part of what I was saying to her as well, like how well, and I didn't see it so much as a mistake as just, that's what the commission was choosing to
Sure.
do. And I understand from her perspective, she would like to know why it changed, because she has to go back to the company that hired her as a meeting planner and explain why this is being done differently. I told her that one commission is not responsible for what another commission has decided. And unless it's a drastic change from how we do things, it doesn't necessarily set a precedent for the next commission. And obviously this summer, we've had at least 2 new commission members between the summer and fall, because Angela and Kate came on this like July and October or whatever. And obviously a new director. And so, and I'm definitely and call me out on this at any time. I'm definitely well, these are the guidelines. And that's because then legally I can always fall back on, well, those are the guidelines. It is written into our guidelines that the commission does have some leeway. You can make choices as long as we have a good, explanation for it. And my explanation for combo plate and square dancing is the fact that there is a community component to it. I will say, whether we keep it per room night, again, I'll reiterate, whether we keep it contingent on room night or a flat fee, I think we'll still be paying $5,000, because I do think she'll hit that room block. And so I don't think for us, it's not like we're committing to more money than what she would be for people she would be bringing in. And in 2023, we did make that allowance for her as well. So I just want to give you guys room I don't want you to feel locked into the guidelines. I want you to have room to make a decision one way or the other. And obviously we don't want to lose any business for any help. But it is up to all of you, or if you have more questions. But I will say that she did sound very much like, if we couldn't make a decision this month and if it didn't come back in how the grant was presented initially, we would probably be out of the running. Now, whether she's playing hardball, I don't know. I'm not a good person to go send to buy a car, by the way, because as soon as someone starts haggling with me, I just leave, because I'm like, that's not what I thought it was. And so I'm assuming that she is being very transparent, and that this is what her group really wants, and that she's trying to advocate for her group.
Mm-hmm. Well, Cindy's in a unique position, and I have all the respect for Cindy. She knows how the commission works, and our we have latitude to do different things. And I respect that she's asking. I think that's, you have to advocate for your group, and I have no problem with that. And I understand.
She was hired to be their meeting planner, and she's doing her due diligence.
Right.
And I also offered to speak to her board or committee, whomever she works for, to try to explain a little bit more about how the grant process works. She also brought up that she believes that other communities don't run their grant program anything like ours. I have no idea. But I do know that we are a small community. And so one of the reasons that the criteria is written the way it is, especially until we come back full force from the pandemic, is because we have to keep putting money back into the grant program in order for it to exist. Mm-hmm. I would love one day to be able to give awesome big grants, but we aren't at that level yet.
Well,
I would definitely say 5,000 is probably the most that we could give them.
Yeah, and I trust that she's giving us her fair assessment of room nights and how this is, I trust that. So and it will be $5,000 either way. I don't want to lose the business either. And I can understand where she is coming from, because we're doing it one way this time and the change. But if there's anybody who can explain the room night thing, she should. But I understand what she's saying.
And if you wanted to change it and say, we'll do this flat payment this time, I could communicate in writing that the commission has reconsidered this and we're going to follow that same line, but not to expect that in the future.
Right.
That each grant request is always presented and considered individually based on what we have available and, you know, the circumstances. If you wanted to do that, if you're worried about placing us in a position where every other year we're having the same conversation.
Well, plus we'll have a track record. Right now, we don't have that, right? We're waiting for this year to see.
Right,
where-
and this
but we're-
fall, we'll have the whole report from them. And then obviously after 25, and she said she would like to come back every other year.
Mhm.
And so if that's,
And we would like that.
exactly,
Typically when, like on the council, when we have a vote from the previous meeting and we're re-voting on it, we have to do a motion to reconsider in a second and then vote on it so that we can do it
okay.
accordingly.
I
And-
honestly didn't know how to do this because I was looking back and I couldn't find an occasion where we
No.
re-voted on a grant.
But if we're, you know, if we do that, then we're kind of signaling that we're willing to change, or trying to mimic what we're doing in 2023. So if I make a motion and I'm not feeling it, then I won't get a second for it. So I'll make a motion to reconsider the Wisconsin Library Association grant.
Any discussion or a second?
Yeah, any second?
And this
I'll
is just
second
to reconsider. Okay. Angela seconded.
Okay. And then Kevin, you vote on the motion to reconsider, and then we move into the reconsideration.
So all in favor to reconsider?
Aye.
I
Aye,
Okay, motion passes.
I'm torn on it.
Okay, so now we can call for a motion for anybody who would like to basically reallocate the grant under the new terms.
This is Olson. I'll make the motion. Considering that we did this in 2023, and it is, although we don't have any of the data yet, I would make the motion to do a flat 5,000. Plus, Mari, you would add the note that we will have more data and we'll consider room nights or flat amounts in the future. Is that what you need to hear?
Yes, and that we would also require a post-event report
Right,
and other,
exactly. Mhm.
I'll put that all together in the letter. And she has no problems submitting a post-event report. She had 0 problems with that.
I'll second that motion.
Any discussion?
Any discussion on the motion?
Nope.
If none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Passes. I was an aye.
You were a no?
I was an aye.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, Jim, you can come back and fully re-enter the meeting. Okay, so I see that Rob Guard from Destination Madison is on the line as well. I just wanted to give you an opportunity, if you're here with any questions or anything, feel free to raise your hand or shout out or anything like that. Right now I'm sharing my screen, so it is hard for me to tell if someone has sent us a chat. There's nothing in the chat yet. But welcome, Rob.
Thanks, Mari.
All right. So I think we can go right back up to group updates.
Is Jim back on? So
Jim, do you want to take over the meeting or would
no,
you
he
like?
doesn't have to go. I just for hotel updates.
Oh, yeah, he is. Sorry, you can't see him.
Okay.
He is on my screen.
So, okay, we'll move back up to the top, and number 1 is hotel updates.
Here we go.
may I be excused at this point, Mari?
Yes, we don't have to
Okay.
vote for anything else. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right, Funny thing is, Jim, you don't show up on the big screen, but you show up on my little screen. So I don't know why.
I think he's muted.
Andrew muted. Oh, and now he's gone.
He's fine.
Okay. Well, you know what? While we're waiting for Jim to rejoin, I'll start with director's updates because I've got quite a few different things here. So the grant guidelines are out. Everything is being put on the new website, which I'll get into in a minute. The new website will launch the week of April 3rd or 4th, whatever that Monday is. And I also brought some copies and I can email people copies. These are the refreshed guidelines. The meat of them hasn't changed as far as like when we require people to apply, you know, the $10 room night situation, but it fleshes everything out. It describes things more in detail and it adds the meeting planner incentive package. And so I can send those out to all of you as PDFs just so you have them. And then the new website is going to have a much more robust, like far more attractive looking meeting planner page. So I'm excited to share that with all of you guys when we get there. Next up, Common Council update. So they voted at the last meeting how virtual committee meetings can be run. I shared that with all of you that in order to meet quorum, committee and commissioners have to be either in person or with their camera on Zoom. They can't just call in anymore or like Zoom in without being able to be seen, which I understand because if you're going to vote, we should see your face. But I was very, very happy that they allowed hybrid to continue. I was advocating very hard for that. I told them my entire commission is full of some of the busiest people in the town. And I can't expect them to all be able to show up in person every time. So I was very, very, very happy. Secondly, the STAR report came out for February, and I just thought a quick update. So occupancy for February was at 42.3%, which is 33.6% higher than January and 4% higher than February of 22. Overall, the year-to-date occupancy is 36.7%, which is 8.4% higher than last year. So we're still tracking higher, which is pretty great. The average daily rate was 12.1% higher than this time last year. So that's also tracking higher. My other little update plea is I emailed everybody about how, and I'm sorry I didn't give you more heads up, that if you would like to reapply to be on the Middleton Tourism Commission, that deadline is coming up March 31st. The link I sent you, I'm hoping all of you say yes. If you don't, please reach out to me individually so that I can, especially if you're in one of the fields, that's a requirement for our commission. Attraction, dining, hotel, we have to have at least one for each of those. So if Jose or Kevin or Jim or Angela are thinking about stepping down, please definitely tell me because I'm required to have you guys on. So I have to find someone who's an equal replacement. And then hopefully those will get appointed by the end of April, I think. Kathy, is it right after the election?
May is when they need to be done.
So hopefully we'll get everybody appointed in May. And then in June, I would like to actually turn our normal June meeting into a slightly shorter meeting that's more like onboarding. So we'll go over the book, we'll go over criteria, we'll go over any questions people have, especially if we end up having a new commission member. And that way we can kind of, because I know everybody has been onboarded at a different pace, some during COVID, some by different people. We can all just kind of sit around for an hour or less, hopefully, and just kind of go over everything.
You will definitely have a different alder on. I know that.
Yes.
Because so you'll have a different.
I know. And we'll want to say goodbye to you too.
Okay.
Because it'll be, I don't know, like maybe you could stay on just as a person, you know, like just as a person who supports DMVA and I don't know, we can chat. The other thing I wanted to do too is, so I mentioned that we are launching our new website. So I wanted to share with you, this will be, so the week of April 3rd or 4th, whatever that Monday is, we're going to launch the new site. And it'll probably be like midweek, because we're technically going to go live earlier so that we can work out some bugs. And then we will advertise it, and we're going to do a launch video, kind of like we made for the rebranding. And so here's our launch video. Oh, funny story. I need to turn my, hang on.
Those are fun.
There we go. There, sorry. Had to turn off my own volume. So that will be going out, and we're going to do like a giveaway and some other social promos. But you can kind of see what the new website was going to look like. It's going to be definitely like a little bit of a fresher take, lots more video. We're really cleaning up some of the landing pages and extraneous links and 37 blog posts about one thing, you know, that kind of thing. The most exciting part for me is that rebuilding from scratch means that the back is finally going to be all cleaned up, and it'll be a lot easier for us to operate and add things to it and to play around with it, because our current site is so old that it doesn't even have a site map anymore that works. So I'm very, very, very excited about this. I can't believe it's already here. Another little update, Mad Dog and Meryl. So I went back and asked them for some more stats, and Kevin is absolutely right. I feel like they would definitely benefit from partnering with us based on where they're at and their demographics. And so I think I'm just going to pass this year, and we can always reconsider another time. I think they'd be super fun, but for the cost of the program, and we are definitely moving more toward a digital reach, and that's not exactly their game right now. So I just wanted to let you know I followed up on all of that. And then one of the other things that I said I would have, but I don't have, not really, is an outline for the 3-year strategic plan. I'm working on a couple of things right now and talking to some people for some suggestions on folks to hire. I would very much actually like someone who is absolutely not from this area or even from out of state to come in and really look at us like with brand new eyes, and also not with eyes of, I don't want to make someone else mad, or I'm looking to try to get, you know, business somewhere else. I want someone to really just look at us and say, okay, so here's how you can operate as a city department in tourism, and we are so different from everyone else. Everything from organizational structure to our staffing. The last time we even looked at that was pre-pandemic. So how are we looking at our staffing, and Laura having permitting in her office? And the city is trying to do some things to make that easier. Is that enough? We budgeted for some software. Do we need to go into that? So it's going to be, it's not marketing based at all. We do a strategic plan every year for marketing. This will definitely be organizational. And so I'm still working on all of that to present to all of you before we officially send out an RFP and hire someone. So those are all of my updates. So Jim, would you like to provide hotel updates for us?
Sure. There's really nothing new to report. Just glad to get Q1 behind us. We're getting back into busy season now. As you mentioned, we did rise. A star report shows it. We're still improving from Q1 year over year. Still hoping for some better bounce on business travel, but as we all know, that's not projected really to return fully till about 2026. So we're heading in the right direction. We got the good news. was it 2 days ago or so, or 3 days ago, about Epic is now going to require that certification trainees come back to campus. They will no longer have an opportunity to take these virtually anymore. So that's fantastic news for our area. So that's about it. Exciting.
Excellent. And I would assume if Angela were here, she would go, ditto. We need to switch you guys around so that she can go first sometimes.
That works for me.
But it all works for me because it's always pretty good news. Did anybody else have any questions about hotels or anything like that they wanted to ask real quick? I don't. I'm good. So the only other thing left, sorry, I'm jumping ahead here, is CXC. So Yuri couldn't make it. He is on vacation. And so I have his report. Let's see if I have it in a handy spot. 1 second. And he did a really good job of just summing up Q1 for us. And he said that he still would really much like to come in person. And so if we would like to invite him for April, he'll come in person. And by then the season's completely wrapped up because this is I think our last week of snowmaking. So this is his report. For under construction, he says the past quarter has been eventful with the beginnings of construction phase 2 at the CXC Outdoor and Recreation Center, made possible by support of the City of Middleton and CXC Foundation. Phase 2 included the construction of 48 parking stalls, a parking lot, stormwater facilities, mass grading of the site, and was completed on November 20th. The parking lot is beautiful. I went up, I saw it. It's the only thing they've really got right now, so I saw it. Nice. Fundraising. We secured a $25,000 grant from Madison Area Sports Commission toward the Trailhead building and a transfer of a donor advised fund, current balance $343,903 to the CXC Foundation to support bicycling advocacy and facilities at the CXC Center. The Trailhead structure, additionally, we installed a dome structure, which is actually pretty cool, and they're planning on keeping it. They just don't know where they're going to put it, but it's pretty cool. That has been serving as a temporary trailhead and rental center before the trailhead building is complete, where our partnership with Solomon has allowed us to begin providing classic and skate cross-country equipment rentals open 3 days a week. I've been following them on all their social media channels as well, and they've been really good about updating when trails are graded and ready, and whenever they might have to close their rental. So he's been trying to update people if you follow them. Snowmaking, the installation of a high capacity snowmaking well, like a well, has made it possible to produce enough snow to cover 1.2 kilometers of trails, providing a reliable snow base open to the public for the ski season. And programming, we are excited that all of these developments have culminated to allow us to host group and individual lessons with PSIA certified instructors, groups from UW Adaptive Fitness, 3 elementary school groups, and a local youth club for their ski practices throughout the season, on site at the CXC Outdoor Center. We recently revealed our new logo for the building and look forward to what the future holds for this project and our community. He also provided me a ton of links for photos and told me we can pretty much have anything we want to help promote not just cross-country ski, but the facility itself for like events. Trail passes, sales were at 1,243. It's a little bit down from the year before. The drop in trail pass sales was likely due to the lack of natural snow. And remember, they had at least 2 different times where the pump for their well broke. And so they couldn't make snow for like a week or so at a time. The events that they've hosted in 2023, they hosted the Wisconsin Nordic Ski League Sprint Championship. That was February 4th through 5th. They had 18 teams, 251 athletes, 48 coaches, 310 spectators, 109 room nights. And the photos from that were pretty fun. And they did a really good job promoting our organization. They actually set our visitor guide out on like a big, like tablecloth block. So when you entered, before you got into the entry, you were like greeted by this plastic thing full of our visitor guides and some other things. So I was actually talking to Laura that we should buy some feathers so that they can put Visit Middleton feathers out by the entryway. I think that'd be kind of fun. So, and again, like he provided lots of different photos for the different, like he provided photos of the parking lot, like if you guys wanted to review any of that. And I can actually send you all of that in an email as well. But again, I thought I'd just invite him in April and let him speak to the group and share kind of how the season ended. And I know that he's applying for a grant right now, and he's hoping to maybe have an event this fall, like a Nordic kickoff. Hope I'm not giving away anything here, but he's really trying to get something like that put together, so we can ask him about that as well. So yeah, that's, I think, the last item that I had. Yep. Did anybody have anything that they wanted to add, ask, or share?
Motion to adjourn.
This is Olson. I'll move adjournment.
Strom, I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned.
Thank you all so much for zooming in. I really appreciate it.
Have a great one, everybody.
Everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
See you later.
Bye-bye.